ever known of anyone that commits welfare fraud. Think about it. How about the lady who falsifies documents, who would not ordinarily qualify for welfare, do so, falsify these documents, so that she could buy baby food, formula, or worse, pay for the birth of her child? What about the people that use food stamps as cash to pay for goods and services such as rent, daycare? These things happen. And part of the reason why I chose this topic for my research is that during these last several months in the line of business that I'm in, I do reverse mortgages. I do a lot of volunteering and different aspects with different charitable organizations. And it's come to light that this happens a lot and often. A friend of mine's mother owns a daycare, and she receives food stamps as payment. She uses it to buy daycare food. So when the girl was telling me about this, I thought, well, why would she do that? That's totally against the law. And she's teaching you about this, because I know you filed for WIC and you don't qualify. And so I began to be more observant as to people abusing this system, and really wondered why. And why is the attitude of, oh, it's okay, we're not hurting anyone, it's coming from the government, it's not coming out of any one particular person's pocket, it's free money, well, why not just do it? And being raised by a mother who was one of 14 children, who my grandfather never took welfare, and actually at the one winter he had to apply for welfare, was turned down. And yet he had 10 children at home that he had to feed, and it just wasn't going to happen. And so there was definitely an attitude when I was growing up that that's just something that we don't do, that we work hard for our money and we support ourselves. So I was very curious about this attitude of, hey, we're no harm, no foul. Let's just make up some stories and qualify for welfare. So to understand this, we need to understand the demographics of welfare. We need to understand how welfare first came about and how it's grown to the problem that it is today. So welfare originally in the United States was established with Social Security back in 1936. It was originally intended to care for indigent children and their mothers, or orphan children. Generally, the population that has suffered greatly during the Great Depression. So that's what it was supposed to serve. What has happened, though, over the generations, in the 1940s, Congress began to realize that, wait a minute, we have a problem in our hands. In the 1950s, in order to remedy this problem, there began to be a discussion of, well, maybe we should require that these individuals work and seek higher opportunities to get themselves out of this welfare situation. So, in 1965, there was a federal mandate that rehabilitation goals be given in terms of responsibility to work. Later, in 1996, the Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act was passed and formally established welfare fraud as a crime. There was controversy about that because it was felt that there was no forward opportunities. There was no training to have these individuals step out of their situation and better their lives. And again, a great debate. So what was once considered a tool to help indigent children and their parents has now become, today, present demographics, which is typically a single woman, 35 and a half years old, 2 children, no child support, and generally makes about $565 a month. That's the average welfare recipient. Some of the qualifiers for welfare, or what the main qualifier was, a single woman. So this also led to fraud because now we have a group of people, 6 generations later, whose family line has been on welfare, who've learned that this is a source of income. We have this problem where the woman remains single, who really does have a husband, typically common law, but the husband is taught to move on and move out so that the woman can continue to receive her welfare check. But often what happened is, yes, he moved on to another woman, and the cycle repeats. Now, this isn't every situation, but this is a situation where, again, after so many generations, it becomes learned behavior. It becomes routine. So, did we fail in educating our welfare recipients to a better life? Did we fail in offering them forward-thinking opportunities, education? By creating this mandate that each welfare recipient must work, did we plan on services such as childcare? For a woman to take a minimum wage job, but yet have to pay for childcare, often would net $1 an hour. Wow. If she had more than 2 children, it wasn't worth it to work. So now these are people that really needed welfare. But then there are some that don't, that see it as a means of easy money. In New York, there was a woman who retired making $60,000 a year, who falsified documents so that she could qualify for Medicaid. So she was driving around in her Mercedes, getting her $60,000 a year in her retirement fund, and also collecting welfare to pay for her maid staff. And again, she felt that no harm, no foul. It was easy money. If these other people could do it, so can I. So in closing, what I'd like for everyone to think about is, if you are aware of welfare fraud, what do you intend to do about it? Are you going to report it? Are you going to make a difference in our laws so that these challenges that welfare recipients have will no longer exist?